The reason that there are so many single women out there today is because these women have been fed a false ideology in regards to emotionally available men. So what women think is emotionally unavailable is actually just a man in his masculine energy. It's not his duty to understand all of your emotions. That is not his duty. His duty is to provide for you and to protect you. This means to probably protect you from your own emotions as well. He can understand that you're feeling a certain way. He can respect that you feel a certain way, but it is not his duty to sit with you for hours on end, listening to every single emotion that you are processing. This repels men. And women think that because she can't find a man that does that, or because she's actually not attracted to a man that does that, she thinks that she has yet to just find the perfect man. This is such an illusion, and it keeps women single. It is not a man's role. It's not his duty to sit there with you and act like a parent, right? And what's going to happen is that if you think that that's his role, and if you think you keep having to make him understand every single emotion, first of all, you're not his piece, so he will leave. And second of all, if he does sit with you in all those emotions every day, every time you feel something, you're pulling him into his feminine, so you'll lose respect for him.
Men want women who are obedient, helpful, feminine, sensual, and attractive. No boss ladies or alpha females. They will thus keep having dating problems. The fact is that the majority of them do not settle down.
What happens to a man in a relationship when he starts to feel unappreciated?
Men are willing to crawl through broken glass for their family and for their partner. But what starts to happen when he's feeling unappreciated is that he's doing all of this work, he's breaking his back to make everybody around him happy, but at the end of it, he's bleeding for no reason. And after this continues for too long, he begins to feel so desperate, so hopeless that he's doing everything he possibly can to improve the relationship, and yet none of that is coming back to him in terms of a positive benefit of appreciation and respect in the relationship. And so if this pattern of lack of appreciation, lack of respect continues for too long, he gets to a place where he starts getting really resentful. Why is he going to keep doing what he's doing if the reaction is only negativity and he's not getting any recognition for what he's doing? And this disconnect over time will widen, and eventually he'll either be unable to continue doing so, and so he'll exit the relationship, or he'll accept that this relationship just doesn't provide me with happiness, and he'll continue to live this kind of half-life, not only in the relationship, but in his wider life, in his career, in his personal relationships as well. If you found this useful, follow for more content like this.
The fact that women feel that they're settling is what hurts them the most. And if they can't grasp the fundamentals of supply and demand, they won't be able to attract the men they desire. Then it is what it is. There aren't many men at the top, and not all of them would like a woman to be there. I find it astounding that well-placed women in society fail to understand this. There will be fewer persons at each level of income as one moves up the scale. Supply and demand is as simple as that. However, the number of women accessible to a man will increase the higher up the economic ladder he climbs.
If a man stays home for most of his days, he is going to get depressed. And if a woman goes out and hustles 40 hours or 50 hours a week, she's going to get burnt out. They are playing the wrong role. This is why you see so much depression in men, and it's why it's gone up. There's more men at home, more men on social media, more men playing video games than ever, and there's more women outside of the home. There's more women hustling and trying to do what men can do, even though that is far from what we should be doing. We are fluid. You couldn't pay me enough money to show up at an office and act the same way every day, because I can't tell you as a woman what mood I'm going to be in tomorrow. I can't tell you what mood I'm going to be in tonight. That's not how we work as women. So the woman stays in the home so that she can allow herself to be the full expression of femininity. She can be in whatever mood she wants to because she's in the safe container of her home. And the man goes out and he hustles and he does what he has to do. He comes home feeling satisfied that he's actually achieved something. But you reverse those roles, you see depression in men and you see burnout in men.
So why would he marry a wealthy lady only because of her wealth? Let's go on. Female achievement is less alluring than some women believe. What kind of guys dislike powerful women? That's not it. Male success criteria for women are lower. The second, age, submissiveness, and a caring nature are just a few qualities men prize that might work against them in the quest for success. The third, men rarely regard professional accomplishment above their own level, and only up to a certain extent. Men claim to admire knowledge and accomplishment, but they never let it frighten or turn them off, despite what others may think. Despite what they claim, it sometimes conflicts with what they practice.
What if a man used his testosterone like we use our hormones during PMS as an excuse? If we want our men to be understanding of our mood swings that are apparently out of our control, then shouldn't we offer them the same respect, the way that testosterone plays a role in their sex drive? What if it sounded like this? Sorry, honey, my testosterone's just acting up. That's why I want to do it all the time. I want to be a fly on the wall when that conversation happens. What I'm saying is that we don't get to use PMS as an excuse and throw it back in their face, when he also has an urge that's uncontrollable and dictated by his biological hormones.
Men prefer dating women who are less rich than they are. Others like women who have less education. Studies show that men find women's intelligence to be unattractive to a certain extent. But when he thinks a woman is brighter than him, he loses interest in her. However, men who regarded educated women to be attractive in the long run gave them low physical attractiveness ratings, according to evolutionary psychologists. All right, men. I agree with him, since I wouldn't want to date someone who makes more money than I do. Not out of fear, but more because I am certain that she will ultimately make a joke about how much money she makes and how she won't respect my authority. Why then would I sign up for it, knowing that I will be treated like a lesser person? That arrangement would only be accepted by a man who doesn't value himself, because I'm more likely to receive better treatment than if it were the other way around, and I may feel like a provider and a man in my own castle. I would like to date a woman who makes less money. These contemporary Western women will now consider males as inferior, while physically being broke and living in rundown apartments themselves. Furthermore, you shouldn't make this a problem, since these women will try and minimize your accomplishments, even though, barring divorce, they can never hope to catch up to you. I support the passport gang's decision to travel to less developed nations in search of women because of this. Instead of going where you're tolerated, go where you're wanted. Simply be sensible and refrain from marrying these women and bringing them back to your first world nation. Otherwise, you will discover just how quickly a woman can turn the tables on you. Anyway, let's go forward. Many men like less domineering women. Even the most successful men tend to choose more submissive women, which is why you often find tycoons with extremely low-key partners. Men favor women with lower incomes. Although time and society have changed, individuals have not, and most people secretly don't think it's acceptable for women to earn more. As evidenced by statistics, men frequently marry women who earn less than them, and women frequently marry men who earn more than them. There is no changing that fact, no matter how much we shame men for wanting successful older women. Most extremely wealthy guys frequently prefer more submissive women to begin with, since many powerful women become subordinate to more dominant men, but it still takes more effort for them to do so. Who among you desires to make a lady more feminine? Let's face it, if I am a strong, successful man, why would I want a bull to continually challenge me in a relationship? And when is a very ambitious lady going to have the time for me? If you truly think about why guys avoid these kinds of women, it's hardly rocket science. I don't want to always face the demands that women place on men. Men of distinction have other options at their disposal. There is yet another dating issue for professional women. The markets for premium men and women are significantly dissimilar. Why? As people move up the success ladder, the dating markets for men and women change in the opposite direction. Less successful men are okay with it, and occasionally even prefer dating and getting married to women who are less accomplished than them. Women often prefer not to date. As if that weren't enough, men have also lacked their standards when it comes to casual partners. As a result, there exist significant disparities in society's upper strata. Leverage and alternatives are crucial for men. If you want to be able to control ladies, you'll need some power and money. It's a basic fact that ladies won't treat you nicely if you don't have any leverage. Because of this, the men in this sector will tell you that women will ultimately approach you if you have power and money. You won't need to go outdoors to seek women, go hunting for game, or do other things like that. Therefore, it's crucial to understand gender dynamics and how men and women naturally think to comprehend why great career-driven women don't seem to attract the people they want. The bitter truth in our times is that 80% of men are automatically not on any woman's list. Imagine that. This only leaves the top 20%, which includes the Chads and Tyrones, the millionaires and the billionaires, and the very select men who have the build, the money, the charisma, and the personality that makes women go crazy for them. But the thing is, if 100% of women only want the 20% of men, and let's say the 20% of that 100% end up with the 20% of select men, what are the rest of the 80% of women going to do then? Ladies, your selectiveness is going to get you in a lot of trouble, because there's a high chance you're thinking you're a 10, when in reality, you're a 6 to a regular guy, and you would be lucky to even be with a regular guy you consider a 5. Most wealthy women always pick a man who is either on par with them, or much more successful than they are in terms of social position and financial security. These women find it nearly impossible to marry a man they deem to be beneath them, because hypergamy is still so common. And surprise, surprise, women don't want to settle. And marrying someone who isn't making as much as them feels like settling down with them, because that's not the ideal situation for them. Women eventually give up and simply start whining about how there aren't any good guys out there, and the ones who aren't even close to being on par with them. To avoid seeing the effects of their own life decisions, they simply concentrate more on their work and keep complaining about the lack of men. I think women choose this lifestyle, so they either have to accept it or decide to treat the nicest men they can find. That's all I have to say on the subject. They will have to deal with the consequences if they don't, or if they refuse to make a deal because they can't find a man who is better than them. That is my opinion, and I don't care if it offends anyone because women have no problem making fun of unfortunate men. So why should I be concerned if they are too successful to find a mate to settle down with? That is their problem. First of all, it should be noted that accomplished women generally do not do as well in romantic relationships. Most of us have, thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Support us and help us spread support for men around the world. Do comment and share your thoughts. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.